New Zealand win the first T20 by 80 runs against India on some solid batting display by the openers. The Indian team, with 4 all-rounders and 3 wicket-keepers, failed to deliver. In women's cricket, New Zealand win the first T20 game against India in Wellington by 23 runs. Indian middle order failed to capitalise on a solid stand to lose their last 6 wickets for just 25 runs. Real Kashmir beat Gokulam 1-0 to go on top of the I-League standings for the first time in the season. Crizo gets all-important goal for Real Kashmir to top the points table with 32 points after 16 games. Manchester City stars in relaxed mood as they gear up for Everton trip in the English Premier League. A win for Pep's team would take them top ahead of Liverpool on goal difference. And the season's first El Clasico between Barcelona and Real Madrid in the Copa del Rey semi-final first leg. Barca hoping to use their home to get a big first leg advantage. All right, let's start with India's tour of New Zealand. A blistering 43-ball 84 from Tim Seifert, backed by some fiery cameos from the other batsmen, helped New Zealand thump India by 80 runs in the first 2020 international match at the Westpac Stadium in Wellington and gain a 1-0 lead in the 3-match series. Seifert and Colin Munro added 86 runs for the opening wicket after Indian captain Rohit Sharma won the toss and elected to field first. Most of the other New Zealand batsmen chipped in with useful runs as the hosts finished at 219 for 6 in their stipulated 20 overs. Seifert and Colin Munro added 86 runs for the opening wicket. It was Kunal who provided India the first breakthrough, with Munro mistiming one of his straight deliveries straight into hands of Vijay Shankar. In his 20-ball 34, Munro blasted 2 fours and as many sixes. Seifert, however, kept going and hit Kunal for 2 more sixes in his final over to take New Zealand's score past the 100-run mark. The right-hander, however, couldn't convert his maiden T20 international 50 into a century as he was knocked over by Khalil after smacking 7 fours and 6 maximums. Most of the other New Zealand batsmen chipped in with useful runs as the hosts finished on 219 for 6 in their 20 overs. And India needed a rock-solid start, and Shikhar Dhawan started the proceedings by hitting Kanglijun for 16 runs in his very first over. Tim Southee, however, kept things tight for India and dismissed Rohit for just 1 with a short delivery. Just when it looked like everything was going fine for the visiting side, Lockie Ferguson knocked over Dhawan, 18-ball 29, with a searing pacey Yorker at over 150 kilometers per hour. Having been slumped to 65 for 4, at the end of 9 overs, the onus was on Karthik and old guard MS Dhoni to make the match out of it. But leg spinner Ish Sodhi got rid of Karthik and Hardik Pandya in his very first over to take India out of the game. With 143 required in the last 9 overs, Dhoni and Krunal stuck in for a while and played a couple of entertaining shots, but not once looked like causing a threat to New Zealand. After scoring 20 runs, Krunal fell to one of Southee's short deliveries. Dhoni top scored for India with a 31-ball 39, but by then the game was well and truly over. And my colleague Anil Thomas is joining us for a conversation on the match. What really happened with India? Anil, welcome to Sports News. Now, a score of over 200 in T20 International was not going to be easy, but India did have a deep batting lineup.
Well, good evening, Shubhendu. Very much, when you're chasing anything above 200, India's maximum that India has chased in T20 is 207. It was a challenge right from the word go. And, whenever you're chasing anything about 200, if you don't get a good start, Rohit and Shikhar not coming and, going bang, bang there, things wouldn't have gone your way. I think Shikhar started off well. Rohit somewhere, the way in which the New Zealand bowlers came about to the openers, I think surprised both Rohit and Shikhar. And losing Rohit early and no Virat there in the middle, Indians looked a different unit altogether. We had 4 all-rounders there, 3 wicket keepers in that batting lineup. But, when you're chasing anything about 200 there, New Zealand had their tails up. Once you have 200 on that Wellington wicket, the bowlers would feel energized. Tim Southee that looked almost ordinary there, looks extraordinary there when he came out to bowl, when he knew that you have got 220 there to defend. So, things look very different in the manner in which New Zealand approached the game. And I think Indians lost the plot, I would believe in that first 10 overs where, they looked a bit lax there in the middle, in the manner in which you fielded. The top scorer there for New Zealand getting 2 lifelines there in the middle, one at 17, one at 71. You're asking too much there from our batters to do the job. The bowlers disappointed, and I think full marks to New Zealand, the way they went about. India, I would say, outplayed in all 3 departments of the game.
Right, and talking about the Indian bowling attack, the way Seyfarth Munro played, they really showed what kind of partnership was required to take through a game like that.
Well, it came as a surprise to me. On the other hand, you had Colin Munro, who had a pretty ordinary series, I would say, the manner in which he batted about with Mitchell there in the middle in the one-day series, with Martin Guptill there in the one-day series. But in one-day cricket there, his teammate there was also making a debut for New Zealand in this game. So, he had his tail up. He when in the post-match ceremony, he said that I was asked to go there and enjoy myself, and I was there to play a long handle. And I think he made full opportunity of the chances that came his way. At 17, you get a lifeline. Right. Indian bowlers were bowling short on that track, and if you are bowling short on that particular track, the difference between the way New Zealand approached this game and Indian approached this game, the Indian bowlers bowled a lot more shorter, and the amount of times you bowled shorter in this match, you were going at over 14 runs and over, and that's where New Zealand made a match of it and India made a mess of it, and full marks to the way in which he went about. He never let any opportunity. Even the first ball that he faced, the ball stopped on him when he was about to go for a hook, and he corrected his shot there. That itself shows playing, a team like India that's got, a 4-1 series win in the one day coming into T20s. He looked somebody there, who, many would remember Brendan McCullum, the manner in which he played there, out of the box innings. And I would say that innings set the tone for New Zealand, Once you have your top order batsman scoring an 80 plus for you, he missed his 100, but he scored an 80 plus score for you. He set the match up for you. I think the rest of the players or the teammates just had to do their, itsy bitsy role to take this match home. And I think full marks to New Zealand.
Right, and also as you mentioned, that in all 3 departments of the game, decisive win for New Zealand. That makes one wonder, what was the Indian captain seeking to achieve when he won the toss?
Well, when Rohit was asked, after winning the toss, you've decided to chase on a track on a track where you've enjoyed a victory there in the one-day game, and what different are you approaching, or how differently are you approaching the game? He said, I wanted to challenge my batters, because we love chasing, and I just wanted to challenge my batters. But having said that, you go into a game with 3 wicket keepers, 4 all-rounders there in a T20 game. See, you got to remember, it's rare are the opportunities when you get to bat beyond 6 or 7. So you're looking at, going into a match with extra batsmen there, when what you should be focusing in T20. If you need to win a game in T20, your best, the best outlook that you need to have is have an extra bowler, not an extra batsman. I think that's where the plot was wrong. Going into a game with 3 wicket keepers, all 3 in great form, but you've got it all jumbled up there. You've promoted, you've sent Shankar there at number 3. You've kept Rishabh Pant at number 4. Your batting order doesn't seem somewhere settled there. That absence of Virat Kohli there. But, I would say a great opportunity missed for the players who got a chance there in the middle. Krunal Pandya, Hardik Pandya. For that matter, Dinesh Karthik, 2 lollipops that he dropped today. One spectacular catch, but 2 lollipops that he dropped, makes a hell lot of difference to a team winning and a team losing. And I would say, it started off with our bowlers, and then to the fielders, and finally that hangover of not playing the first half well, showed clearly on the batsmen, and you could see the writing on the wall: 51 for 1, 77 for 6.
Yeah, I've just come into that, Anil. It's not an unfamiliar sight for India. It may have won historic matches in Australia just a few days ago, one against New Zealand, the one-day series as well. but really crumbling when the top order crumbles, the middle order too doesn't really stand up to support the team. It is not an unfamiliar sight. What key takeaways for India in the next T20?
Well, I would say, India needs to press that erase button with immediate effect. The game is over in Wellington. We are shifting to a new venue in Hamilton. Let's forget this game. This game is over and out. If you sit back and look at what went wrong, what went right in the game, not many positives to pick from, except for the fact that, we've tried too many things in the first game. We should have rather looked at, taking a 2-0 lead or, sitting comfortable there, 1-0 up and then looking at some changes that you needed to make. You had, probably you could have gone with Kedar Jadhav in this game, somebody who would bring that stability to that, 4, 5, 6 there in the middle. But the manner in which Rohit approached this game, Rohit has had tremendous success as a T20 captain. He had 7 victories as T20 captain, captaining India there before this particular game. That particular, winning run has been broken in this game. And Rohit has been, successful. He's captained, this was the 13th game that he captained India, and he's got 11 wins behind his belt.
Right.
But, all this is the past. What you need to pick from this game is press that erase button with immediate effect. Look at Hamilton, on how differently do you approach, and what went wrong in this game. You bowled a lot shorter. You brought your spinner, your best spinner there, Yuzvendra Chahal. He comes in the 10th over to bowl when the match is already lost. And I think, the captain lost the plot in the first 6 overs. T20 is bang cricket. You don't get an opportunity to come back. And when a team with, 7, 8 overs down is almost 90 runs on the board, your match is done and dusted. I think he kept Yuzvendra Chahal a bit too long there, bringing him on in the 10th over. And few gambles that didn't work for him, Catches win matches. When you drop 3 in a game, the match is gone.
Right, and also for cricket fans to keep the excitement open, the second match is going to be exciting from the one-sided drubbing in One Day International. It's an open-ended tournament ahead then.
Well, you got to look at different New Zealand when they play T20 and when they play one days. One day is a 50-over game. T20s is more the New Zealand kind of thing. It's just 20 overs there. And one batsman playing a good knock, followed by some supporting batsmen like Kane Williamson, the captain there, Ross Taylor, coming and making small contributions that add and look like a grand picture there in the middle. This is the same New Zealand team that got thrashed 1-4 by India there in the one-day series, and look at the way they bounce back. But I would say too early to say that New Zealand will have a good run here. Indians will come out pretty hard at them in the next game in Hamilton. But remember, the one-day series was one-way traffic. The T20 series will not be one-way traffic. You're going to see a keen contest between bat and ball, and any team that is able to keep its head on its shoulders is going to have the last laugh. Having said that, but I would still say India should in all ways be bouncing back in the next game in Hamilton.
All right, Anil, let's wait and watch. What lessons do these two teams learn for the second T20? Thanks very much for joining us for this chat. Moving on in women's cricket, Smriti Mandhana remained an unstoppable juggernaut with a record-smashing half-century, but Indian women's cricket team failed to make it count, going down by 23 runs in the opening T20 international against New Zealand, again on Wednesday. Asked to chase 160 runs by New Zealand, India collapsed from 102 for 1 to 117 for 6 in 5 overs and eventually 136 runs to throw away momentum created by Mandhana and Jemaya Rodrigues at the top. The win gave New Zealand a 1-0 lead in the 3-match T20 series.
Having won the toss, Indian women put the White Ferns into bat. Experienced Susie Bates failed to fire with New Zealand women starting poorly. The fastest T20 International 50 among the women belongs to Sophie Devin, and she played a crucial role in New Zealand's surge. As Bates faltered, her opening partner Devine struck 62 runs from 48 balls with 6 boundaries and 2 sixes. She had good support from skipper Amy Satterthwaite with 33 runs from 27 balls as they stitched together a 69-run partnership. At the bottom end, wicketkeeper batswoman Martin played a firing cameo with 27 runs from 14 balls. New Zealand women posted a challenging 159 for 4 from 20 overs. India lost Priya Punia, the debutant, in the very first over. But Smriti Mandhana and Jemima Rodrigues steadied the ship. The left-hander was severe on the bowlers, often targeting the square boundaries on the leg side with the pull to help India motor along. Mandhana slammed her 50 off just 24 balls, the fastest ever T20 50 by an Indian woman, as she rocketed towards the series lead. But the innings rot started with the wicket of Mandhana. She departed for a 34-ball, 58-run innings. Rodrigues fell in the next over, edging the cut for 39, leaving Harmanpreet Kaur with the bulk of the responsibility. But when she was out, stumped for 17, India's already dwindling chances went up in smoke. 7 of the last 8 batters come for single digit as India were bowled out in the final over. India threw away a winning position, slipping from 102 for 1 in the 12th over to bowled out for 136 in their chase of 159 to hand New Zealand a 23-run win in the first T20 international in Wellington. Sports Desk, DD News.
Bang, 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 and the wicket started.
And from cricket to football, Real Kashmir beat Gokulam 1-0 to go on the top of the I-League standings for the first time this season. Crizo got the all-important goal just after the break in the 51st minute. With this win, Real Kashmir now top the points table with 32 points after 16 games. Gokulam, on the other hand, is totally out of the equation, having garnered only 12 points from 14 games. Chennai slipped to the second spot with 30 points but have played just 14 matches so far. Real Kashmir will look to consolidate in the next home against East Bengal. And the Premier League title race is getting hotter. And as Liverpool shook hands with West Ham United on Monday with a draw, Pep Guardiola's Manchester City will be hoping to extend their points and chase the trophy. City travel to Liverpool to play Everton at Goodison Park on Wednesday. It's a game which is crucial to both sides. The former are looking for their 6th win in their last 7 league encounters against the Toffees, while Marco Silva's men will be hoping to put behind their 3-1 loss to Wolverhampton Wanderers on Saturday. Leading the lines for Manchester City will be Argentine forward Sergio Aguero, who got a hat-trick in his last match against Arsenal at the Etihad on Sunday. If he's not rested, Aguero will be looking to make inroads into a shaky Everton defence led by Michael Keane and Kurt Zouma. An ex-Manchester United boss, Jose Mourinho, has agreed a prison term in Spain for tax fraud, but will not go to jail. A 1-year prison sentence will instead be exchanged for a fine of €182,500 that will be added to a separate fine of €2 million. Spain rarely enforces sentences of less than 2 years for non-violent or first-time offenders. He was accused of owing €3.3 million to Spanish tax authorities from his time managing Real Madrid in 2011-12. Prosecutors said he had created offshore companies to manage his image rights and hide the earnings from tax officials. Image rights cover the use of persons' likeness, voice, signature and mannerism and can be very lucrative for footballers and managers. Mourinho's move to Manchester United in 2016 was even delayed after it emerged his previous team, Chelsea, owned the trademark to his name. Spanish prosecutors said that Mourinho, a Portuguese national, had set up multiple business entities in British Virgin Islands and elsewhere to manage his image rights. Real Madrid will visit Nou Camp to face Barcelona in their first leg Copa del Rey semi-final. Los Blancos will be looking for redemption against Barca after Luis Suarez punished them in their first La Liga encounter of 2018-19 by bagging a hat-trick to make the score 5-1. Barcelona will welcome Real Madrid to Camp Nou on Wednesday night for the first leg of their Copa del Rey semi-final. The Catalan side have been victorious in the competition in each of the last 4 years, failing to make the final just once in the last 8 seasons. Real Madrid will be looking to avenge their 5-1 demolition in October that ultimately led to the dismissal of coach Julen Lopetegui. Both sides are sporting injury issues heading into the match, but it will be no less of an epic display of some of the world's great facing off with each other at Camp Nou. Messi's pedigree is undeniable and he is all-time leading scorer in this fixture with 25 goals. However, the 31-year-old missed the last meeting between the two sides in October with a broken arm as Luis Suarez's hat-trick saw Barca cruise to a 5-1 win. Barcelona also have a higher average number of goals without him against their fierce rivals than when he is on the pitch. Albeit he has only been absent from 3 games, Barcelona are about to embark on a grueling run of fixtures with league games at Athletic Bilbao, Sevilla and then Real in the next 4 weeks, as well as 2 Champions League ties against Lyon thrown in the mix. Nonetheless, a fit and available Messi is clearly preferable for the La Liga leaders, who are giving their captain the time he needs to prove his fitness. Barcelona have a tight grip on this competition, having won the past 4 finals to take their overall number of Copa del Rey triumphs to 30, more than anyone else. Real are the third most successful club, having won the trophy 19 times, although they had last claimed the title in 2014. The last time one of the Clásico clubs did not win the competition was in 2012-13, when Atletico Madrid beat city rivals Real. Running Sports Desk, DD News. And Lindsey Vonn's hopes of a gold medal in the penultimate race of her glittering career were ended by a high-speed crash. But Mikaela Shiffrin claimed victory in a nail-biting Super G on the first day of racing at the World Championship on Tuesday. It was a day of starkly contrasting fortunes for the two figureheads of the US ski team. 23-year-old Shiffrin had just put down what turned out to be the winning run, edging out Italian Sofia Goggia by 0.02 seconds, and was watching the screens in the finish area as Speed Queen Vonn started. Former Olympic champion Vonn, winner of 82 World Cup races, began well, but lost a line as she approached a small jump and hit a marker gate before careering across the slope at high speed and into the safety net. Shiffrin could hardly bring herself to watch as Vonn was attended to by course officials and medics, but thankfully 34-year-old got back on her skis and made her way to the bottom. She waved to the crowd and received a warm applause. And with that, we close this edition of Sports News. DD News continues. Namaskar.